Well, folks, for my Facebook diaries, oh man, for a long time I had no reverse and no forward in my transmission. And I changed that transmission out four times. I always had my RPMs. My engine run fine, but with my RPMs go up, I saw that my speedometer was also going up, and I was like, oh man. And one or two times or three, all four times, it'll go, then it just stop, just like, and don't show no codes, nothing broke in the transmission or anything. It just would not go. I was like, talking to all kinds of transmission people. Everybody's out here. I know everybody hungry, but these people are real hungry. They was like, oh, bring it in. It's possibly your torque converter. It's probably your pump. Well, I was getting pressure fine throughout the lines. With my line pressure gauge. I have one of them. I had built one, matter of fact, an oil line pressure gauge. And I was getting pressure fine. Then I thought to myself, common sense wise, I had to deep think. I was like, all right, I feel like the transmission is working, but I'm not getting it back to the wheels. And it dawned on me, between the transmission and the transfer case, is between the transmission and the differential, is the transfer case. So it dawned on me. I heard, I got under the truck, cut it on, and put it through all the cycles: reverse, drive, neutral, 1, 2, park. And I was every time I put it in park, I got this zip, like zzz. And from me building the transmission, my backup transmission, I was going through the system, or from the from the torque converter to the input shaft to the pump to the forward clutch assembly. Going through the cycle of how the distribution of oil goes through all the points of the transmission, from the to the slip pads, to the intermediate clutch, to the reverse clutch assembly, to the direct clutch assembly, and also the shaft, the stub shaft, and also the output shaft. And it dawned on me to take out my speed sensor and start it up again with it in park, and see if I get some rotation out the output shaft. And of course, it's in park, so I didn't get any transfer of power to the output shaft. Then I put it in drive, got back under there, and saw that the output shaft was putting out power, but it still wasn't transferring power back to the rear wheels. And then it dawned on me, and I heard some rattling in the transfer case, that this fork, I got a video of it, was destroyed. You see all this ate up at the ends or whatever in the transfer case. So I pulled it, I pulled out my transfer case. I bought me a new shift fork. On motorcycles they used to call it a crow's feet, but a shift fork, and got a brand new one for $30. And this could have cost me up from 1,500 to $3,000 or $4,000. They could have charged me for a torque converter or a pump. That's what they kept diagnosing me on the phone. But of course, you got to bring it in. But see, that's why I like Donald Trump as president, because it shows the world And I noticed from baby boomers, especially, they think that people in high positions have a high standard of truthfulness and integrity. But no, for the money, man, they tell a little lie, especially they know they could get away with it because know nothing about it. And it could have cost me from 1,500 to up to $3,000 or $4,000 just for this $30 part, man. And of course, I was looking for the hub, but the hub they didn't have it. So I'm gonna clean off this hub. I still got little plastic parts and metals on it, but I'm gonna clean that up real good, to go inside this fourth shift to put. And that's what and look, it will say no codes because there's no sensors inside of the inside of the electric transfer case. It has no sensors. And I'm looking through all this and I was reading, and it says diagnosed by symptoms index, no forward, electrical 201, hydraulic, mechanical 301, and also no forward, electrical 202, and there you go, 302. So I'll go over here to 301. The first 201, it said electrical routine, and it said reference action, no electrical concerns. All right. Now the hydraulic part of it, the hydraulic routine is you got to check your fluid, of course, your shift linkage, incorrect pressure, your fluid filter and fluid assembly. You got to check that. Main controls. I went through the valve body. I checked the 3/4 shift valve, the main and the pressure valve, also, and the manual valve. I checked all the valves. All of them was good. No concerns there. The pump assembly, and I checked the forward clutch assembly, and it shows you all the actions to do by doing that, and also I built the transmission, so I knew what to look for in it. And it says the one-way clutch assembly, planetary. I looked at that, and the output shaft damaged or whatever. I looked at that. The output shaft wasn't damaged because I got rotation and everything. But look, it don't have. Also look at the transfer case. Don't have it at all. So now I got to write in also transfer case. Let me write that in real quick. Oh man, it's ridiculous. And I paid $483 5 years ago for this book from the Ford dealership. $483. It's still a good investment, but when you pay $483, you expect to get details. And this is a very good detail, and the reason why I wasn't getting any forward motion because that fourth shift wasn't engaged because it was stripped because of that shift forward. So now I gotta correct what's in the $483 workshop manual, and I also checked in the transfer case about this subject, and it has nothing about if your shift fork could be all it have if it goes wrong. If it's in 4-wheel drive, if it drop out of 4-wheel drive low and 4-wheel drive high, that's the only concerns it have. So now I got to put also transfer case, and you know what I'm saying. Inspect for damage parts. Uh, Respect for this. So now I got a transfer case. You know, I got to do the same thing. It's a shame that I got to go back and you know, and put this in a book. You know, and I talked to a ton of transmission people. You know, what's the possibilities? They kept referring me to the book, but I'm getting, and they couldn't give me an answer, and it's pretty common sense, you know, especially if you say you're a professional at building a transmission. You should know not every part of the car, because it's all intricate as far as pressure and electrical, but you should know another thing to check, because you know your speedometer is going up, so the transmission is actually working fine. If you have something behind the transmission, which is the transfer case in a 4-wheel drive truck, you know, and I explained them what year the truck, what model it was, engine size, transmission, everything, you know. But some people, you know, they could have charged me up from $1,500 to $3,000 or $4,000 on parts that they wasn't gonna use, all in their pocket for a $30 part in the transfer case. $483 book, you know. Now, if I spent $483 for a book and I couldn't get an answer, what you think I spend $2 or $3 for a book and still don't come out right, you know? And it's a Ford workshop manual from Ford, 2005 F-150 Ford workshop manual, and that's what I wanted to, let people know, man. You gotta really research, and you would never find it on YouTube neither, man. You go through all of YouTube, and they won't discuss this neither. I might put this on YouTube. I might get a few hits, but just I'm just a little pissed off about you buy a book, you read it and whatever, you invest a lot of money in it. It's still a good investment. I buy the books for all my stuff, as far as my bikes and my everything. That's something you gotta really research something that you're trying to find. Shut this thing off. I'm gonna fix this transfer case now.